What's good, YouTubes? It's Saturday, September, I don't know, but fall is right around the corner. It's 73 degrees today and overcast, and it was pretty cool last night, but unfortunately it's midday, not the most ideal time to be heading to the stream, but we have pretty much time to fish, so we can fish into the afternoon and evening hours. But for those who do not know, this is spawning time, the beginning of spawning time for brown trout. So, you know, we primarily target wild brown trout around here, and this is the time where they tend to get the most feisty, and you have the best chances of seeing a big fish that you otherwise won't ever see. Wild browns, especially the big ones, are notoriously stubborn. They can be homebodies. They have a good lie in the creek, they might stay there for their entire lives. And if it's in a undercut of a bank or something like that, where they really don't have much need to come out and show themselves, especially during daylight hours, again, you might not ever see them. So be that as it may, when it's spawning time, the game changes a little bit, and unfortunately flows are super low right now. We went from having a ridiculously rainy year. I mean, it was probably over a year of above average rainfall. We had swollen creeks and rivers almost constantly. And as soon as we got close to cooler weather here after summer, the rain just shut off, which is a little unfortunate. You know, I like to throw big streamers in the fall season when these fish are hungry and aggressive, and in clear water, especially clear low water, it's just not ideal. So today I think we'll be throwing my 10-foot 4-weight, and that's a good hybrid rod, so to speak. It allows me to tightline nymph, but you can also throw some streamers actually on that rod. It has enough of a backbone and enough stiffness at the tip. You can throw a 3.5 inch, even an articulated streamer. So I think that's what we're going to use today, and we're heading to one of my favorite wild brown trout fisheries. Long intro, I apologize, but I wanted to give a good backdrop for what the game plan is and what this time of year is all about. It's really my favorite time of year to fish. I'm on a mission to hook up with a big fish this fall. Just one. So stay tuned for some, I mean, it might happen today. I doubt it, just given where flows are, but you never know. But stay tuned this fall for some pretty aggressive fishing for targeting the bigger wild browns. I think there's going to be a few trips in the cards where we're fishing night trips on the river. So anyway, guys, got a little bit of a drive ahead of me here, and check back in when we are streamside. As I mentioned, we'll be throwing the 10-foot 4-weight. This is a Orvis Recon. I'll be fishing a tight line style of fishing, at least to start, and I won't actually go over the setup I use for that. I'll drop a link below. Right now I'm experimenting with a rig that George Daniel has on his YouTube video, so I'll post a link to that below. But let's leave it as this. It's got a Skagit running line to some indicator mono to some bicolor indicator line, sighter line, and that goes to my tippet. And today I'm just using 5X, which the point fly is, I don't know if I can get this, it's a pretty small fly, but it's like a tractor Perdigon nymph, and about 20 inches up from that I have a tag dropper, and on that I have a wet fly. A lot of people disregard wet flies anymore, it seems, at least the people I cross paths with, and I find that swinging this through holes, it does the job. So let's see what we can do on this, and switch as needed. I haven't fished this section in quite a while, so rather than walking up the stream, I came out of the water, less chance of spooking fish. And this time of year, it provides a great overwash position to look for big fish that may be spawning or whatever, just out and about. And then once I come up to some riffles like this, I'll get in below stream, excuse me, below stream of the riffles, since the fish are swimming upstream as they're feeding and just resting. And that gives me the opportunity to come in without being noticed and hopefully hook some. All right, guys, first fish about 10 minutes in. Took the perdigon, little brownie. I was actually floating my sighter line. Barbless hook, but see, beautiful. Look at the fins on that little guy. Get him right back in. There he goes. I'm always looking upstream once I start moving up to see what side of the stream I should be on. You know, you see a riffle like this and some structure, it's probably a great spot for a couple of trout to sit. And the current tends to hang toward the right side of the bank, so I'm going to come to the left and I'll fish that run from the bottom up. I run much less risk of spooking fish, and I'm out right on top of them by fishing the right side, so I can hang back. And that's the beauty of a longer rod. A 10 or 11 foot rod allows you to hang back and not get seen. The trick is moving slow, being patient, staying low. So I wish I had a camera on me, but I'm actually squatting down as I walk. And now I'm kneeling. And that's what it takes to get on fish in low flows, especially high pressure streams like this one. These fish know when to seek shelter and get lockjaw. This is actually a good fish for here. Took the perdigon as well, but I'm impressed this guy came out to play. Wow. Yeah, that's a really good fish for here. I mean, there are big fish here, but I figured today with these low flows there'd be a lot of smaller fish. Get rid of the flies. Show you guys this fish in a second. Real beautiful wild brownie. There he goes. That's a good sign. All right, guys, I just set my hook and a little fish came flying back here. I'm imagining it's a little wild brown. Wow. I just plucked him out of that hole. There he is. Get him back in ASAP, but look at that, guys. How pretty is that? Set my hook and off he went, flying behind me. There he goes. This time of year, it's a little early for this stream, but I'm already on the lookout for reds. A red, an R-E-D-D, is a trout bed. It's where the browns spawn. It's where they'll clean the bottom of the stream. You'll see looks like a bright spot in the bed of the stream, and that's where it was cleaned and where the trout will lay their eggs. And I think a lot of guys have no clue what they are, what to look for, and actually post a picture now. And they come in all sizes. Sometimes they're just little circles, other times they're big, wide areas, but the bottom line is you need to steer clear of them. Don't fish for trout that are on reds, and certainly don't step on them. Don't tread on reds. They represent the future of your fishing for your local fishery. You don't need to be a biologist or anything like that. Just a modicum of knowledge goes a long way in helping protect these special places that still have wild fish in our great state. All right guys, this is a real shallow little run here. I picked up another good fish. Took the perdigon again, so that's 3 fish on the perdy. All right guys, another beautiful little wild. I'd argue a lot of guys would fish right past this, especially in these low flows. That's what some stealthiness will give you. I don't usually boast, but I'm pretty proud of this catch. This is really tough fishing. The people in these condos probably think I'm nuts. I'm like kneeling in the stream, crawling. But that's what it took to be able to catch a fish in this hole. Paid off. It's a real pretty little brownie. Again on the perdigon. Alright guys. Yeah, it was no easy catch. I mean, it's very clear water, and I'm sort of sitting right on top of a deep hole. And on the inside part of the bend here, there's no current. So I'm just slowly dragging these flies downstream through the deep part of this hole while I'm kneeling in the water. Oh, there goes another one. This is when it all comes together. Just tons of reps. Figuring out what doesn't work and what does work. I can't tell you how many times I've botched holes like this simply by being what I'll call a meathead. Sort of come tranching into the hole thinking I own it, not respecting the awareness of these brown trout. And I'd walk out empty-handed. Alright, so I walked up to this hole. Lots of deep, slow, very clear water, lots of structure, and it's just not an ideal hole to tight line nymph. I mean, there's current coming through, but you essentially have to drag your flies across, and to get into position, you definitely spook whatever's in there, especially if there's a big fish in there. He didn't get big by being dumb. He doesn't come out when there could be a predator overhead. So if we walk up to that hole, we're certainly going to appear as a predator. So that being said, I'm going to not be a lazy ass and change my rig. I'm going to take off my tight line rig and put on the leader that I use for dry droppers. So, little tip, you can go get leader wallets. I do have one, I just don't have it in this pack. But in this pack I have baggies, little snack baggies, and I wrote dry fly leader. And that's, or actually, I'm sorry, I pulled out the wrong. That's my dry fly leader, but I have another baggie in here. This is called my bobber dropper, and that terminology I picked up from troutbitten.com. If you're not aware of that website, you should be. It's a fantastic site. Dom runs it. He's one of the more knowledgeable fishermen in the industry as far as I'm concerned. And he is religious about putting out fantastic content. But the bobber dropper, as the name implies, is for a larger dry dropper setup, where you're throwing like a terrestrial, think like a hopper or something of that nature. And he has 2 or 3 rigs for dry dropper fishing. But today it's still summer, leaves are starting to come down, but there are bugs on the water. From my leader I have some 4X tippet. Again, that'll be in the description below, the link to that setup. And then it's to a large stimulator. And off the bend of that hook, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm filming from my head, so forgive me, but I'll just run this through my fingers. probably 3 feet. This is a deep hole down to a size 14 perdigon. Now, I ordinarily would not use a perdigon. They sink. They're very good sinking nymphs, and that's why they're great for tight line nymphing, especially on the point. And it tends to pull down your dry fly when you're fishing a dry dropper. But they've been killing the black perdigon today, so I'm leaving that on the dropper and seeing how this fishes. If I have to change, I'll switch to like a size 20 zebra midge or something of that nature. But that's the setup, guys. So 3 feet down from this big stimulator, we have the perdigon, and let's see if we can do some damage. All right, there's a lot of boot tracks here. Look pretty fresh. It's hard to say how little rain we're getting, how fresh they are, but might not be the greatest of signs. Took the dropper. It's a good fish. Try not to spook this entire hole. Come up here. It's a real good fish for this stream. Trying to keep a low profile here. Took the little perdigon. All right, flies out. Beautiful fish. All right, hooked up again. He was sitting right in that seam where you'd think a big fish would be sitting. Smaller than the last fish, but at least we're getting on some here. Again on the perdigon. Keep them off the rocks, guys. That's a pretty fish. All right, guys. Guys, my knees are killing me. I'm actually crawling on these stones. That's what's allowing me to not be seen and catch these amazing fish. I think I just watched a video on the new Orvis waders. They come with knee pads. It's genius. Like removable knee pads. I could use some right now. Now I know I spook fish down at the bottom end of this hole, but let's see if they forgot about me. Oh, that's a good fish. Guess they forgot about me. Real good fish, guys. Took the perdigon. Oh man, that's a beautiful fish here, right in the top lip. Fantastic fish for this stream. All right, flies out. All right, guys, there you go. Real beautiful fish for this stream. There he goes. All right, guys, picked up this little guy. Wet my hands. Beautiful little fish. All right, guys, I just cast a mile upstream. Hooked into this guy. Another decent fish for here. Just ran into another fisherman too, which I rarely see anybody up here. His name is Chris. Told him about the YouTube channel. Hopefully he checks us out. Chris, if you do, it's good meeting you. And I just caught this right above where you and I just met. Dry dropper still working. Beautiful fish. Any sort of wading and trying to fish across or up and across, you're going to spook fish. in these kinds of still waters, it's, at least for me, I found much more productive. Look at this carp. Much more productive to fish upstream. So another good reason to throw in this dry dropper. All right. Uh-oh. This one has me wrapped. Oh, he unwrapped himself. That's good. Another decent fish. Got the koi right here. But real good brownie for here. Again, Chris. I don't know if you came up this far. I mean, I'm still right at that first big hole above where we met. But a lot of good fish right now. All hitting that perdigon I showed you. This is a good one. All right. That's a good fish. That's a really good fish for here. Beautiful brown trout for here. Check that thing out, guys. All right, it's about to turn on my GoPro, and I should have. Nice little run. It's getting dark and I'm way up in here, but another good brownie. Beautiful fish. The quality of fish today is really surprising. Like I said, there are some good fish in here, but I don't catch many this size on a regular basis. So I don't know if it has something to do with the fall being right around the corner or what, but it makes for a fun day. Just missed. I had him hooked. A really good fish. Hit the stimulator. Erupted on the surface. I thought I was recording and I wasn't. Definitely one of the coolest takes I've ever had in my life. I'm not kidding. It was a really good fish for this stream, and he slammed on the surface, and I got my hooks in him. My hook, I should say. He's not coming back. But too bad that wasn't on film. It was an amazing take. And right when I pegged him with the hook too, he went nuts. Came out of the water once and then popped off. All right, guys. Oh, long day. I'd call it a win. With the flows as low and clear as they are, I didn't expect much. I rarely get skunked here, so I expected, you know, handful of maybe 4 to 8 inch trout. I mean, that's truly what I usually would expect on a day like today. But we caught some good ones, given the context of the circumstances. So the fish toward the end there, I forget if it was the last fish or the one before the last. That was a really good fish for the stream, even in higher water. That's a definite win for a day like today. And then of course you guys missed the hookup on the even bigger fish on the dry fly on the stimulator, but that was epic. So anyway, it's definitely worth the trip. I have to decide if I want to fish tomorrow morning before the Eagles game or just call it quits for the weekend. Something tells me it'll be the former. After a day like today, I'm hankering for some more fishing. So anyway, guys, stay tuned. I appreciate you tagging along. Fall's not even here yet, so we're right on the cusp of my favorite time of year to fish, and I'm on a mission to bring in something big this fall. I'm gonna grind and put a lot of casts in there. Hopefully we get some rain and bring these water tables up. That'll help, but it'll still be a grind. So stay tuned. I hope you tag along. I was thinking about maybe doing a fall series, chasing the big one, or call it something like that, but we'll see. Chris, if you did come to the YouTube channel, again, nice meeting you, and everybody else, until next time. It's okay. It's okay.